Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya. Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namani. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini. Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachyatya Deshatharini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Teachings of Queen Kunti, Chapter 13. Continuing. How Krishna consciousness movement is simply requesting people chant Hare Krishna. There was a cartoon in some newspaper that depicted an old lady and her husband sitting face to face. The lady is requesting her husband, chant, 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 and the husband is answering, can't, can't, can't. So in the same way, we are requesting everyone, please chant, 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 but they're replying, can't, can't, can't. This is their misfortune. So we are requesting, we have to request everybody. And this is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur. Preaching means going door to door, then requesting people chant Hare Krishna, take prasadam, and hear about Krishna. That's all. Anybody can do this. Anybody can go door to door and request people to chant Hare Krishna. That's all. And of course, people will say, can't, can't, can't. That is their misfortune. But we should do our seva, which is to request. So we should understand all of us have to preach in whatever way possible, right? So somebody might be able to sit on Asasana and give class. Somebody may be able to distribute books. Somebody may be able to just simply speak to people. So whatever it is, at the end of the day, we have to speak. We have to connect to people, right? And by our behavior first, because they will see how we are, and then they will either be influenced positively or negatively by how we are, what kind of a person we are. Obviously, we have to first be try to live an ideal devotee's life, and then whether we are living or not, at least we should request. Because then people will say, oh, okay, I'm not perfect. If we wait to be perfect, then we'll never preach. But we should request everyone. That is why in our centers we have devotees whose specific service is to talk to everybody who comes to the center. Because we don't want anybody to just come and go without knowing that they should chant Hare Krishna. Every class we end with saying we have to chant Hare Krishna. So we have to chant Hare Krishna, we have to tell others to chant Hare Krishna. Still it is our duty. So Prabhupada is saying, they saying can't. Still it is our duty to make all such unfortunate creatures fortunate. See, that is our mission. Therefore we go into the street and chant. Although they say can't, we go on chanting. That is our duty. And if somehow or other we place some literature in someone's hand, see, he becomes fortunate. So this is the other thing. That is why, book distribution and Nagar Sankirtan have to go on. This also, unfortunately, and right now ISKCON is doing very little, right? So this is one of our goals that we should be doing Nagar Sankirtan and book distribution at least twice, 3 times a week we should do. Because otherwise, what are we preaching? What are we doing to preach? Otherwise, we are just selfishly engaged in our own sadhana, that's all. And our sadhana also doesn't, you see, if we want our sadhana to raise the bar, right? As in, we have to become a better devotee, our sadhana should improve, etc. Then the only way is by mercy. How will we get mercy? By distributing mercy. So we have to distribute books, we have to preach, we have to do Nagar Sankirtan. Otherwise, we can't make even our own personal progress will become very slow. See, Prabhupada is saying he would have squandered his hard-earned money in so many nasty, sinful ways. But if he purchases even one book, regardless of the price, his money is properly utilized. It is the beginning of his Krishna consciousness. And there are so many things spoken about book distribution. One of the things which repeatedly heard from book distributors, is to give the book in the person's hand. Like anyway, people want to see the book, so we should give the book in their hand and ask them to open, and then show them, okay, yeah, see, there is translation, there's uh, verse, there's translation, there's purport, and try to explain to them whatever we want to. But give the book in their hand. Actually, even before they purchasing the book, if they touch the book, that is the beginning of their Krishna consciousness. This is a word from many book distributors. Because he gives some of his hard-earned money for the Krishna consciousness movement, he gets some spiritual profit. He is not losing, rather is gaining some spiritual profit. Therefore, our business is somehow or other to bring everyone to this Krishna consciousness movement so that everyone may spiritually profit. See, somehow or other is important, right? Somehow or other meaning not whatever. I mean, yeah, you can use whatever ways. Prabhupada did not restrict people from outreach. Saying, however, we can get people, but the important thing is once we get people, we train them properly. But unfortunately, our focus seems to be somehow or other get people, but after that, there's no focus on training. And because there's no focus on training, everybody just, whatever, however they want, however they have understood, and they will make progress in Krishna consciousness because we did a half job. We just got the person into Krishna consciousness, which is a big job, not a small job, right? But after that, training devotees is very, very critical. So always we should have people who are getting, like devotees who are getting new people to Krishna consciousness. Then there is another set of devotees who are focused only on training. And see, this happens very nicely in Brahmacharya ashram, normally, where there are structured Brahmacharya ashrams. Devotees preach, get people into the ashram. Then in the ashram, there are devotees whose seva is itself to train. But for grihasthas, none of this happens. Or people are living outside the temple, none of these happen. So what happens? They don't really understand Krishna consciousness. They don't come to the following standards. We don't have to wait for the entire life to be able to come to that. Just because we're lacking the training. So because we are lacking the training, we've anyway thought that I can live however. And then it takes us many years for us to then realize saying that, okay, this is not how it is. Or, I need to adopt something else. But if there is proper training, then nobody will lose time, right? They will simply just, on time they'll learn everything as is required and they will make progress. So this is very, very important actually. We have to invest resources and time for training. And many times, devotees are handheld till initiation and then after that, nothing. So sometimes even before initiation, there's no training. Actually, training has to start from the time person comes in and it is till the person as in, yeah, who's training somebody senior to us. And that person will always remain senior, will always remain junior, and we will keep learning throughout our life. That is a process. And so we have to respect authority. So it's important to create those authorities, right? It's not like everybody can go to Guru for everything, right? So there should be some of his representatives who are placed in this position to train people. And so getting people somehow or other is good, but subsequently training them is the most critical part. When Krishna appeared on earth, not everyone knew that he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although when there was a need, he proved himself the Supreme Godhead. He generally appeared to be just like an ordinary human being. Therefore, Shukadeva Goswami, while describing how Krishna played as one of the cowherd boys, points out Krishna's identity. Who is this cowherd boy? Shukadeva Goswami says, Ittam Satam Brahma Sukhanubhutya. The impersonalists meditate upon the impersonal Brahman and thus feel some transcendental bliss. But Shukadeva Goswami points out that the source of the transcendental bliss is here, Krishna. Brahmano ham pratishtaham. Brahmano pratishtaham. Krishna says, I am the basis for that Brahman. Krishna is the source of everything, aham sarvasya prabhavaha. And therefore, the transcendental bliss that the impersonalists try to experience by meditating on the impersonal Brahman, in fact, comes from Krishna. Sukadeva Goswami says, here is the person who is the source of Brahma Sukha. Nityam Satam Brahma Sukha Anubhutya. The transcendental bliss that comes from realization of Brahman, Brahma Sukha. And Krishna is the source of that. A devotee is always prepared to render service to the Lord. Dasyam Gatanam Paradaivatena. But for those who are under the spell of illusory energy, he is an ordinary boy. Maya Shitanam Nara Darakena. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stateva bhajamyaham. Krishna deals with different living entities according to their conceptions. How they deal with Krishna. How much they surrender to Krishna. Those who regard Krishna as an ordinary human being, Krishna will deal like an ordinary human being. Whereas devotees who accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead will enjoy the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, this is very important actually. This is the cornerstone of our bhakti. How much trust we have in Krishna, that much trust he will reciprocate. If we think, no, this can't be done, Krishna will say, okay, so this devotee doesn't have faith in me. So I will help him maintain that lack of faith. So we should have see, this is the whole path of bhakti. The more we surrender, the more Krishna will reciprocate. Of course, the object of the impersonalist is the Brahma Jyoti, the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme. But Krishna is the source of that effulgence. Therefore, Krishna is everything. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavan, iti Shabdate. Yet the coward boys are able to play with that same Krishna, the exalted personality of Godhead. How have they become so fortunate that they are able to play with him? Ittam satam brahma sukhanubhutya dasyam gatanam paradaivatena mayashritanam naradarakena sardham vijahru krita punya punjaha. The coward boys playing with Krishna are also not ordinary, for they have attained the highest perfection of being able to play with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How did they achieve this position? Krita punya punjaha, by many lives of pious activities. And this pious activities doesn't mean just normal piety, material piety. It is bhakti unmukha sukruti, meaning first sukruti that brings us to Krishna, and then after that devotional activities. So those who have engaged their lives like that, they'll be able to come to Krishna, right? For many lives, these boys underwent austerities and penances to achieve the highest perfection of life, and now they have the opportunity to play with Krishna personally on an equal level. And for us, we are so fortunate that we are chanting Hare Krishna, which means that we've already gone through all these austerities and penances. That means now it is just time for us to decide, do I want to go to Krishna? Do I want to serve Krishna or not? That's all. So the decision is in our hands. We've got it. We've come to the final pinnacle. We might not be able to understand, or we might not look at us and think that, oh, I've gone through all this, I've come to the end. Yeah, actually, we've come to the end of our journey. Those who have come to ISKCON, those who are chanting Hare Krishna, they've come to the end of their material journey. Understand this. This is not a joke. We've actually come to the end of the journey. Now our thing is like, okay, should I close account this life only? Or maybe I want to come for a few more lives. That's the point. Right? So that just depends. If we want to close account, then we can do it in one life. The risk of not closing the account in this life is misuse of our free will in the future. Though it's not that it will happen, but it can happen. Because we fell from the spiritual world only. So what is the guarantee that we'll not fall from our spiritual position, even if it is exalted in this material world? So intelligent devotee will say, no, I've come to the end of the journey. I don't want to jeopardize it. I don't want to risk it. Let me just finish it off. Let me finish my business in this material world, like Prabhupada says. Finish our business in this material world. Finish it at 50 years. Finish it at 55 years. And then completely dedicate service of Krishna. And then we will just, death means we will then close our eyes, we'll open our eyes, we are in Krishna's land. It's so simple. They do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for that is the nature of Vrindavan Leela. Krishna's pastimes in the village of Vrindavan. Not knowing Krishna's identity, the coward boys simply love Krishna. See, this is where we have to get to, but it's very exalted. We should not imitate. Not knowing Krishna's identity, that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, coward boys simply love Krishna, and their love is unending, unconditional, unending. This is true of everyone in Vrindavan. For example, Yashoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj, Krishna's mother and father, love Krishna with parental affection. Similarly, Krishna's friends love Krishna. Krishna's girlfriends love Krishna. Trees love Krishna. Water loves Krishna. Flowers, cows, calves, everyone loves Krishna. We are the only unfortunate souls. We are rotting here, not loving Krishna. And that is why we are not in Vrindavan. That is the nature of Vrindavan. So if we simply learn how to love Krishna, we can immediately transform this world into Vrindavan. How does one learn to love a person? Anybody wants to say? How do we learn to love? Did anybody learn to love a person? Any thoughts? How does one love a person?
By
How does one
hearing
love
about
to
that
learn to
person,
love a person? Huh?
by hearing about that
By
person,
hearing
his
about the
good
person,
qualities.
okay. Now my question is, okay, learning. How do we learn to love? Okay, one is hearing, okay. I want very simple, day to day, like that.
By service to that
Okay,
person.
by service, okay, okay. Any other thoughts? See, previously, how were marriages happening? Marriages were all arranged marriage, right? No question of love marriage and all that. Love is lust marriage, right? So arranged marriage means that actually boy and girl don't know each other, right? And Prabhupada writes elsewhere in his purport saying that process was that once they get married, because parents have seen and they've decided that, based on astrological chart, etc., okay, these people have to get married. Then after that, what happens? Then they start living in the same house. Mm. Then they learn to love each other. Right, as in the process of learning to love each other is first to come in contact, then understanding that person, right? What that person likes, doesn't like, knowing our role, knowing that person's role, and then aligning ourselves according to our role and trying to please that person through service, through love. So one has to learn this process. So unless we come to Krishna, and of course, we love material things. So how do we love Krishna? That is the whole idea about initiation, association with devotees. We see other devotees who are serving Krishna so lovingly, and we say, oh, wow, it's so nice. I can also learn. And then we follow. We take these instructions, right? So it's a very simple thing which happens all the time in the material world. It's a simple case of arranged marriage, right? So it's like this. We have to just simply learn. We have to, whether we like it or not, we have to just say, okay, no, this is what it is. I am servant, he's the master. Okay, I have to learn to serve him with love. And then immediately we can transform this world into Vrindavan. It's not very difficult. This is the only central point. How to love Krishna? Prema pumarto mahan. People are generally pursuing dharma, artha, kama, moksha, religion. Yeah. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu disregarded these four things. These are not what is to be achieved in life. He said the real goal of life is love of Krishna. Of course, human life does not actually begin until there is some conception of religion, dharma. But in the present age, Kali Yuga, dharma is practically nil. Yesterday we were discussing what dharma is practically nil. Who knows dharma? Nobody knows dharma. And there is no religion, morality, there are no pious activities. The people just want to do whatever they think is right, convenient, etc. So there is no dharma, like practically. And therefore, according to Vedic calculations, the present human civilization does not even consist of human beings. Oh my God. So powerful. Saying that present civilization is not even human beings, animals. Formerly, people would care about morality and immorality, religion, irreligion. But with the progress of Kali Yuga, this is all being vanquished, and the people can do anything without caring what it is. Srimad Bhagavatam says, and we can actually see that in Kali Yuga, about 80% of the people, look at this statistic Prabhupada is giving, 80% of the people are sinful. Wow, 80%. It's interesting to know that 20% are not sinful. But of course, sinful here actually Prabhupada is suggesting that 4 basic pillars are only being destroyed. Illicit sex life, intoxication, meat eating, gambling are the 4 pillars of sinful life. And therefore, we request that one first break these 4 pillars so that the roof of sinful life will collapse. So this is only roof. Then there are, so many other things also, right, under the roof which have to be destroyed. Then by chanting Hare Krishna, one can remain established in transcendental position. It is very simple method. See, Prabhupada makes it sound so easy. Simply chant Hare Krishna, then we will come to the transcendental position. But unfortunately, we are not able to, which means we are not chanting Hare Krishna properly. If one chants Hare Krishna properly, as we discussed yesterday, we will come to the transcendental position, right? So the focus has to be to chant Hare Krishna properly. Of course, it's a very simple method. What do we have to do? Nothing, literally nothing. Just simply give time to Krishna and pay attention. That's all we have to do. This simple process we are not able to follow. We are struggling. And just imagine if you were in a different yuga, what we would have done. Krite dhyayato Vishnu tretayam yajato make dvapare paricharyayam. Kalavata dhari kirtanat. So easily we can achieve perfection. One can realize God if one cannot realize God if one's life is sinful. Therefore, Krishna says, Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punnakarmanam te dvandvamoha nirmukta bhajante maam dridaprataha. Important thing here is dridaprataha. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated. Meaning, those people who are not living a sinful life. Maybe they were doing so from previous life itself, or they did in this life, whatever it is. Their sinful actions are completely eradicated, completely no vikarma, and who are freed from the duality of delusion, moha nirmukta, free from this illusion of I am this body. What will they do? Engage themselves, bhajante maam, in my service, dridabhrataha. This is required with determination. So those who have not come to this stage, not their sinful life is not completely eradicated, they're not completely freed from delusion, they will engage bhajante maam, but not with dridhavrataha, not with determination. And if you're not able to do with dridhavrata, if you're not able to do bhakti with determination, we cannot make serious progress. Right, so we'll be struggling. We'll be in anartha nivrutti only for a big part of our life. All these anarthas have to go. It's taking time. Because it's taking time and we have been in Krishna consciousness for so long, our enthusiasm decreases. And we slowly start to lose interest. We don't feel like associating with devotees. So we should not let this, go into this downward slide. So we should do with determination. Oh, I have to read. Okay, I'll read. I don't have interest. It's okay. I will read because I've been told to read. This like and dislike business ends when we come to spiritual life and absolutely ends when we take initiation. After initiation, there's no question of my like and dislike. It's just a question of what are my instructions, what are instructions have my gurus given, and I have to just follow. And to be able to do that, irrespective of our serious conditioning, we require determination. And this is a vicious cycle, right? We are conditioned. And if we don't follow instructions, then we'll remain conditioned. When we are conditioned, when we follow instructions, then we come out of the conditioning. But the conditional state will not allow us to accept instructions. That is why surrender. That's why diksha. The word antagata means finished. One can engage in devotional service if one is finished with his sinful life. Who can finish with sinful life? Those who engage in pious activities. One must have activities, and if one engages in pious activities, one's sinful activities will naturally vanish. On one side, one should voluntarily try to break the pillars of sinful life. See, it's very important. Voluntarily try. So, pillars of sinful life, 4 regulative principles, we should voluntarily try to follow. Right? And on the other side, one must engage himself in pious life, which is Krishna consciousness. If one has no pious engagement, it is not that one can become free from sinful activities simply by theoretical understanding. For example, the American government is spending millions of dollars to stop the use of LSD and other intoxicants, but the government has failed. How is that? How is it that simply by passing laws or giving lectures one can make people give up these things? It is not possible. One must give people good engagements, and then they will automatically give up the bad ones. So here also, right? Simply if somebody is giving lecture, but not giving opportunity for people to serve, engage them in service, then that theory may not really translate into anything meaningful, right? So we have to do Shravanam and we have to do engage in service, because that is the result of Shravanam. And service means preaching. See, we might be doing all other services. Okay, we have our own skills that Krishna has given. We might be using, somebody might be doing whatever. Somebody might be doing flower, somebody might be doing the stitching clothes for the deity, somebody might be doing deity worship, somebody might be doing class, somebody might be sweeping the floor, somebody might be doing kirtan. Whatever it is, at the end of the day, everybody needs to preach. Everybody. There's no exception. Because that's when our conviction actually increases. For example, we instruct our students, no intoxication. They immediately give it up. They immediately give it up. Even though the government has failed to stop them. This is practical. Surrender. They just surrender. Param drištva nivartate. If someone isn't given good engagement, his bad engagement cannot be stopped. That is not possible. Therefore, we have two sides: prohibition of sinful activities, engagement in good activities. We don't simply say no illicit sex, no intoxication, and so on. Mere negativity has no meaning. There must be something positive, because everyone wants engagement. This is because we are living entities, not dead stones. By meditation, the impersonalist philosophers try to become dead stones. Let me think of something void or impersonal. But how can one artificially make oneself void? Void means zero, non-existent. The heart and the mind are full of activities. So these artificial methods will not help human society. There is a lot. Okay, we'll stop here. So again, the focus has to be on chanting, surrender, following instructions, giving up independence, engaging in devotional activities, giving up sinful life. So this is all ABCD of our spiritual life, right? Prabhupada is reiterating them for us. At the end of the day, we have to remember where is our, one thing, this realization came to me today in our class, saying that we are actually at the end, fag end of our spiritual, of our material journey, right? We can end our material existence if we will. Because we don't simply come to this state. We don't simply come to ISKCON. We don't simply come to chanting Hare Krishna. We don't simply come to attend classes to hear what Prabhupada is saying. All this just indicate that we are right there. We are right there. Just we have little bit dridhavrataha, little bit determination we require, and we will finish our business here. If we are weak-minded, we have to associate with devotees who are strong-minded. That is the only solution. See, we always learn by examples, right? We can learn by hearing, but sometimes it's not possible. But many times we can learn by looking at somebody else, seeing what they are doing, how they are doing. We might feel, oh, okay, they are doing, why can't I do? Let me also try, isn't it? So good association is very, very important. We're very fortunate if we can be association of guru or very senior disciples, devotees, etc. But it's not always possible. So amongst our own, we should choose our association. We should choose. And this is a matter of choice. Of course, we'll respect every jiva. Why alone other devotees? Obviously, we should. This goes without saying. We have to respect every Vaishnava. But whom do we choose to associate with? That is a choice. And what does association mean? Association means wanting to hear from them, wanting to learn from them. That is association. Not simply coming in the midst of other devotees, then going home. That's practically of no use. That is why we have to engage in service along with other devotees who are more advanced than us. Then we will learn. Then we will understand, oh wow, this is amazing. How dedicated they are. How nicely they're doing service. Right? So this is what we need. Okay, I'll stop here. If there are any questions, comments, feel free. Nothing, all satisfied. Okay, and we'll close. जगद्गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यश्च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वंदे। हरे कृष्ण
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
हरे